It loaded. So we have the bulk of the news for me to discuss tonight is Donbrothers related. We have a lot of Donbrothers stuff for a show that has been over for a couple months. We have a lot of stuff to talk about here, but we'll start with this thing, which I think I mentioned briefly in my Toradora Gonjin video the other week when I released that 3 weeks ago. And this was something that was teased a while ago, but it's now, I think, officially, or it is officially up for pre-order right now. I was actually very surprised that this was a pre-order item and not a campaign item, because in the past, these were lucky draw items. Actually, let me pull this up. So, like, you know, they used to do all these lucky draw color variations and stuff, but that's kind of a little bit similar to this. I know there's also a page where they just, or I think there's a page where they talk about just all the Chrome versions that they made. But we haven't had one of these in a while, basically, is the point that I just tried to make by, like, the last 2-minute side tangent that I went on. But they're making this. They're making all gold DonOnitaijin here, which, I mean, I'll admit, it looks completely gorgeous. I love these. These look so cool. Usually, because of how rare they were and the fact that they were campaign prizes typically, they were something that I was never going to be able to get. This one, I could in theory get, because you can pre-order it. It's up on Toku Collectibles. Big Bad Toy Store even has a pre-order for it. It's so much. It's so much money. There's so much. There's just so much at once between this and between CSM stuff for Rider and what we know is coming on that leak list. That, like, I don't know how you could possibly get all of it. You have to pick and choose. And the thing about the mecha, and you can kind of see it sitting back here right now, is that it's really nice. I really do like this mecha a lot, but it takes up a lot of space, clearly. This is the only place in this room that could fit it, and obviously that's just kind of a me problem. But, like, I don't need another one. The only thing that would be tempting to me, slightly, and I'll get into why in a second, is that Omikoshi Phoenix has that gold chrome, and it's already done up in gold plastic. So combining that with this is going to look gorgeous. Toradora Gonjin would almost work, but you have the purple arm and everything like that, and you have some more gray pieces. So it wouldn't look perfect if you try to combine Toradora Gonjin with this, but Omikoshi Phoenix, I think would look, that's the wrong setting. Omikoshi Phoenix, I think would look pretty beautiful if you try to combine it with this. However, which is the funniest part to me, they explicitly stress, because of the paint applications on this thing, you should not combine it and you should not pose it. But for this, you don't really want DonOnitaijin just kind of standing there. I mean, I'm one to talk. That's exactly what mine's doing. But once you combine it, that's pretty much all you can do. You kind of lose that articulation. So when you still have it in this form, it's like, okay, but so then what's the point of this existing, right? Even though it looks really pretty. So this is definitely something I'm passing if that wasn't clear by my discussion on it. I'm definitely not getting this, but it does. I will admit it does look really cool. But even though they say not to combine it, I still think it would look nice with Omikoshi Phoenix. And I'm sure somebody's going to do it. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that somebody will still combine it, because you can still do it. They just stress and recommend that you don't. Which I know somebody brought up a really good point about that. Is that, so then is how is this going to be shipped, right? Because DonOnitaijin was already shipped into components. So yeah, as Caboose just literally said, watch as they package it in its components. They might as well just make it a statue. Yeah, honestly, that's the thing. Because it's like, you're gonna have to combine it to even get it to this point. So, like, it's kind of not hypocritical, but just kind of pointless to even say don't combine it, because you're gonna have to combine it. It just seems like more work than it's worth for a robot that's like $200 for a pre-order right now. It's just not. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Jesus says he's gonna pre-order it, so at least you know. Like I said, it's gonna look beautiful. I can't wait to see people's pictures of it and like an unboxing of it and stuff like that. But for me, it's just one of those things where I'm like, that's cool. I don't need it. I don't need it. However, we're not done for Donbrothers. We're not done. So this was an item that just barely made it into Wednesday's video. And by that, it only made it in by this picture. We knew that this was coming a long time ago. They did tease it. They did tease it on a blog post in relation to the Dawn Blaster, because people were asking if that infrared scanner that's on the top of the Dawn Blaster was still going to work. And they were like, yeah, it's still going to work. I wonder what we're going to do with that. And I'm like, okay. So, you know, we knew it was coming. It was not a surprise that it was coming. It was just a surprise that it got announced out of nowhere on a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night. It was a Tuesday night, which I guess isn't too out of the question, because, like, Tuesday nights have had premium Bandai announcements in the past. I just didn't expect this to show up out of nowhere so soon. But yeah, I mean, it's a Memorial Edition Zanglassword. I don't really know what else you can say about it. I did bring here's my deluxe Zanglassword here, right? Because this is where we're gonna begin. Hopefully not too long of a ramble about Memorial Edition items, and Memorial Edition Donbrothers items specifically. And that's like, why? Like the thing about this toy is that this is a cool toy. I really like this one. I never did a video about this because I bought it months after it came out, because basically it was one of those things to where I was collecting every single gear, right? And I was really impressed by the infrared scanner functionality with the Dawn Blaster. And what really sold me was the fact that when you scan this, it knows what Sentai gear you scanned, and so it can light up the colors corresponding to that Sentai gear, or to that Avataro gear, which I thought was just really freaking cool. And then also it can light up the colors in relation to the 6 rangers that each team has if you scan it in the Tiger Dora. The Ninjarksword, I like its design more. I like Murasame as a character a lot. I think that the I don't have a picture of it, but the Don Zenkai blade, that also looks really cool, because that is combining what is clearly 2 Sentai toy lines that I quite enjoy into one thing. And it comes with an exclusive gear, so I will be getting that at some point. I didn't pre-order it because Blu-rays are way too expensive. That would be a later down the line purchase. But basically, case in point, all back to around to what I'm trying to get at with this is that I already have this. And the thing is that this isn't adult sized prop. This is obviously going to be a significantly larger one. This is not like a terrible size. And so I really need some actual good incentive for this existing, is basically kind of where I'm getting at with this. And the Zanglassword doesn't bother me as much because I feel like it's a lot more skippable. It's basically, hey, you probably had the deluxe one, but if you didn't, and even if you do, here's just another option of it. A little bit more of an adult one, good for cosplay probably, all that kind of things, right? And so the Zanglassword doesn't bother me as much as the Ninjarksword does. Now, the thing about the Zanglassword is that it's up for pre-order right now, at least at the time of me making this video. It's up for pre-order right now on Toku Collectibles for about $200, which isn't awful. I think that's slightly less than the Dawn Blaster, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. However, it comes with an exclusive gear. It comes with a different version of the DonOnitaijin Robotaro gear, which was previously a campaign item or a first release bonus with the DonOnitaijin itself, which I don't have that gear actually. That's one of the ones that I need. But it comes with a new version of that gear that is specifically mentioned to have new DonOnitaijin related sounds in the Memorial Edition Dawn Blaster. I don't know what it would do in the regular one. So that is a gear that I'm going to need to get. So with that in mind, I will one day get the Memorial Edition Zanglassword. But it's definitely not something that I'm pre-ordering. It's definitely one of those things where it's like, okay, kind of cool that it exists. Probably didn't really need to exist so soon. Doesn't necessarily need to exist in the first place. But all right, it's here. You can get it. You can skip it. Whatever. Especially also because it just comes with the gear that exists in another version. So at least it's all just another version of things, basically. Which is, at least there's not anything like exclusive technically being locked into it. So that this one doesn't bother me as much. So the current consensus or the current guess is that the gold line is probably something for Jiro. Whether that is a full Memorial Edition Ruko no Geki, which I just was playing with it the other day. It's over there. It could be that, or it could be a Memorial Edition Tiger Dora. Maybe some kind of combination set of the two of them. We're gonna get into the same thing with that I did with the Zanglassword, to where it's really annoying to me that we're diving into everything deluxe is getting a Memorial Edition version. However, the Ruko no Geki is the one thing I'll make an exception for, because technically in the show there is a small version of it and a big version of it. Let me grab it real quick because I do want to play with it again. Because if you look at the deluxe one here, right? So like, this is probably, especially in its axe mode, this is probably somewhat close to like the prop size that Jiro uses when he's actually like transforming, especially like dangerous Jiro in the case of this one. Even this one, when it's in the dragon mode, the spear mode, when he's transforming with the rest of the team or even on his own, he has like a small version of the Ruko no Geki. But he becomes Dandora Goku, this thing extends into a giant spear, right? So in this very specific case, if this gets a Memorial Edition item, this would still have some kind of merit as being an accurate size to pre-transformation Jiro. And honestly, like I said, this is probably a pretty good size already for the axe mode, because it doesn't really grow in the axe mode. So, yeah, Caboose said, somebody quoted my post about it with a broom to make a longer version. Yeah, that was. I tweeted the Legion about that, and that Tay runs that account as far as I know. So I think it was Tay that was joking about it. But I mean, genuinely, I like the Legion, and a lot of people on Twitter are kind of rooting for it to be a Tigeradora, which that's also sitting down there somewhere. And like, why? I don't want a Tigeradora. Like the only thing that would get me to want a Memorial Edition Tigeradora is if it was the ultimate gear reader. And what I mean by that is that it needs to read everything. It needs to fully read everything, because for the most part it does not read anything that is pre-Gokaiger except for the Dragon Ranger gear and the Kiba Ranger gear. So it reads Jew Ranger and Dai Ranger. If you put any other Sentai in there, it just doesn't. It just makes a generic Sentai sound, which is annoying because whenever they do that, that means clearly those sounds are programmed in there because it knows that you've put Goggle 5 or it knows that you put Time Ranger in there, but it's not differentiating it. So the only thing I would want that toy to do is be the ultimate gear reader of this entire 2-year toy line that could read every Sentai, an Avataro, Robotaro, Alter, Dark, whatever it is, gear. Then we have something going here. But I think this one actually has some sort of merit to actually existing as a Memorial Edition item, and the Tigeradora not as much. But so I'm rooting for this, and this is something actually legitimately, because honestly, I've had, out of all the toys, and I never thought it would be this. Out of all of the toys from Zenkaiger and Donbrothers that I've picked up and fiddled with in the last 2 years, this has been the one I fiddled with the most. When I got rid of all of my Donbrothers Zenkaiger stuff from the dorm display and I brought it back here, I kept this up there so I could still fiddle around with it on my desk. And the black line probably is the Ninjarksword. It's on the leak list. It's probably going to happen. Well, we know it's going to happen, but that's probably what it is. And that one is the one that annoys me the most, mainly due to the fact that that was originally a premium Bandai toy, and it is now going to be, when it becomes a Memorial Edition item, it is going to become a Memorial Edition, or it's going to become a premium Bandai toy yet again. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that concept, because at least when you're taking a deluxe toy and upgrading it to Memorial, you're upgrading it to premium Bandai, which in my mind means that you are taking the toy and you go, hey, we're going to improve it, so now you're going to pay a premium price for it, right? However, if you're taking a premium toy and then making it a premium thing again, to me, that makes it sound like you're taking a toy that you already thought was a high quality standard one and admitting, yeah, no, we didn't do a good job with it. Now we're going to do a good job with it. That's the thing that I hate about it. And I know that that's not true, because I know that premium Bandai is not all just high-end things. It's also just things that would not work in the deluxe toy line. That's why Evil Ranger stuff goes there. That's why a lot of obscure things go there. That's why things that were planned last minute due to popularity or whatever it may be go there. Like, I understand that it's not just for high-end stuff, but you're always usually paying high-end prices for it because of middleman fees and shipping and all that kind of stuff, because you can't get it here in the US easily. And you can't really get the other stuff easily either, but it's always going to be more expensive for premium stuff. So, like, it has that stigma around it, in my opinion, to where you see the title premium and you go, oh, we're going to spend a lot of money on this. So when it's going to be made premium a second time, I really do not like that. So the Ninjarksword is so conflicting to me, because I really like the design of it. I really like that toy, but I do not want to buy it again. I already spent like $100 to get it the first time. I definitely don't want to spend like $200 to get it the second time just for it to be bigger, and probably not even have those Blue Ranger gears, because I don't know why it came with those Blue Ranger gears in the first place, but it did. And there's that. So I don't know. So since the time of this past recording that you've been watching, the Ninjarksword Memorial Edition has been announced as the final of the main Donbrothers Memorial Edition lineup. It's, like I said earlier, exactly what you'd expect it to be. It's not including the gears, the Blue Ranger gears of the Shark Rangers that were included the last time. Those are not here, which makes sense because those gears were never canon anyway. The one cool thing, though, is that you do get pieces of Haruka's manga that you can kind of use to, if you wanted to cover it with manga, or that would bend everything up, but you could do that if you wanted to. Or you just kind of have some cool pages of her manga just for the fun of it, which is fitting, I think, for this sword in terms of, some extra things to add to it. It makes me think a lot of, Jules' sketchbook that they included with the Memorial Kirame Changer a couple years ago. So that's a cool, bonus thing for something that was already pretty good in its deluxe release, and really, the Zanglassword only exists to kind of be a Memorial bigger version of a toy that you probably already bought a year ago. So this got announced. This was completely out of nowhere. This happened on Thursday night. So we had a Tuesday night announcement and a Thursday night announcement. This one completely caught me off guard. I don't mind this one as much for a couple of reasons. They released that original Noto Brace during the show, so we all kind of thought, well, they're probably just going to make a second one. And then no announcement happened, and we're like, okay, is this just going to be one of those weird things that Bandai never releases? Because that does happen sometimes. But no, we got it. So they announced this whole Memorial Edition-ish-esque set, and as you can see, it comes with the plates for all 6 of them. But what they've done with this one is that they have not made, because the thing about the Zanglassword, so the Zanglassword, right? Like a Memorial Edition, the idea is to replace this. It's the idea is that you bought this toy, we'll throw it out because we're making a brand new one that is infinitely better and you know, in the best way that it could possibly be. This set though is kind of exactly the opposite of that. It's basically, it doesn't punish you for having bought the first set. And it also kind of rewards you if you haven't bought the first set. I think it's a perfect release. I'm not getting it because it's just another thing on top of all the other purchases I'm trying to make right now. And it's like 145, I think, on Toku Collectibles. But I definitely do want this set. This is actually one that I will be pre-ordering, or not pre-ordering. I will be getting at some point. Out of all the stuff, out of the Golden Onitaijin, of the Memorial Zanglassword, and out of this, and especially out of the Memorial Ninjarksword that hasn't been announced yet, out of all that stuff, like this is something I legitimately want. And what's really cool is that, of course, you get the 3 new plates, but you also get the old plates, but this time they're done up in a translucent plastic, so they're not the same as the original release is. That way, the original release still has some sort of merit to existing. But then also, what's really cool is that the translucentness, I think, is still enough to where it still looks like regular, and from like a distance, it's going to look fine. You'll probably always know that they're not like the opaque ones that are translucent, so you might still want to get a first set in the first place. But this is the real seller to me that I think is how they structured this perfectly. So if you didn't get the first set, you'll have everything you need in this one to have all 6 Noto, right? However, the first set came with 1 brace. It came with 1 brace with 3 plates. This set comes with 2 braces with 6 plates, meaning you can either display 1 of each trio. So you can display like let me try to get this right. You can display like Sonoi and like Sonoshi, right? I mean, like the leaders of the 2 trios. Or, if you bought the original set and this one, you can display an entire trio at once. Perfect. That's a great way to do this. I really, really like that quite a bit. And I do want to make sure that I got that correct, because that actually is too good of a plan. So I just want to make sure that I didn't just spread incorrect information about this. Let me go to Toku Collectibles and just 100% confirm that it does come with 2 of the braces, which I'm pretty sure that I read that it does. That's the Donbrothers Memorial Edition plan. So hopefully we stop after this. I don't know what else they could even possibly do unless they do the Don Zenkai Blade, or if they don't do both this and the Tiger Dora, maybe they would do the other one. But like that's all I can think of. That would have them remake. If they do all that, then they will have remade every single deluxe roleplay item as a Memorial Edition item. So you please move on. So like, for a show that just wrapped up, I did not expect this many Memorial Edition items, and you're going too far with it, Bandai. Like that Gear Laner is ridiculous. At least you started with the worst one. At least everything else has some sort of merit to existing. Well, I guess you started with the Dawn Blaster, which just makes sense, I guess. But that's it. That's the Donbrothers Memorial Edition plan, and I'm gonna go ahead and check to see if anybody responded on Twitter to see if I was correct, and if it does have 2 braces. Wow, look at that. Ranger Board responded. 2 braces, 6 faceplate. The Legion said, yeah. Cool. So I was right. It does come with 2 braces and 6 faceplates. So we're good. So that's why that set is cool. And that's why I like that one. So to sum it up, Zanglassword Memorial Edition. Actually, let me be big for this one. Memorial Edition Zanglassword. Kind of cool. I'll get it eventually because it has that gear. A potential Memorial Edition this thing, Tiger Dora, or even this, what I want it to be this, the Ryuko no Geki, if it's that, I love the idea. If it's a Tiger Dora, it has to be the Ultimate Gear Reader. Ninjarksword, not happy about it at all. And the Noto Brace is a cool thing that I won't pre-order, but I definitely do want that set. So that is Memorial Edition Donbrothers. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brendan Overland, Maji Yellow, MCPC Studios, Comics 1017, James Darty, John Luke, Eric Berry, Tyler Bezetsky, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, Pyramidus, CBT Tesla, Cross SCV, Caboose Ed, Socket Monsters, Anthony Love, Daniel Pika, Hella Geo, Thrasher, Jesus Prime, Uni Warrior Thomas, and Lewis Carnes. You can support Toku Topics for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, linked in the description below.